So people are happy to see you.
I'm here.
Yeah, she's here.
I didn't know that this was airing after they saw the.
Yeah, they just saw it.
They just saw it.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone.
Yeah. So let's talk about it a little bit.
Let's process.
Yeah, let's process. First of all,
did you cry, Joey? Whenever, because we did an after show and I cried. Did you cry?
When?
When you and Brandon?
No,
yeah.
he doesn't have an emotional.
All right.
Center.
Yeah, no, I don't have any empathy in me, so I can't connect in that way.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. But you did do a beautiful job, both of you, and that's one thing I wanted to talk about is when we're filming a scene like that, that's that intense, that many times in a row. One of the ways that you are able to find emotion and intensity and all of that kind of stuff is each other, right? Because when the camera's on you and you're looking at Yaz and vice versa, if she's just kind of phoning it in, as we say, then that doesn't help you at all. So did you guys talk beforehand about it? Did you rehearse? Did you ask her, could you do this for me? Or was it just let's find it on the day?
It was just find it on the day, really. You know, I mean, it was something where you go into it just trusting the other person. We've also worked with each other for quite some time, so there's already that established trust as well. But I don't know, I've always felt it's like weird to tell another actor what you want to do or what you're going to do or something like that. I don't know if you feel similarly at all. You know, she just tells everyone what to do all the time. Never mind.
I know. I'm like, wow, what a great human you are. Honestly, no, I just went with it because I was like, let's just see what happens, and it's more in a very masochistic way. It's more fun that way, and you never want to plan too much. I feel like I can be. I'm already so controlling with myself, just as a person, and with my work, and just like I give myself so much stuff, and that acting is one of those things. Like working and collaborating with people is one of those things that I feel like it is a challenge, and I can let loose. And that's what my challenge is I always try to. I do that with my personal life. I try to do that with work, and so this was something where. I like taking time. I know that it can be annoying for people, but I like when a scene takes, in a weird way, days. Because then there's that freedom. There's ways to do it differently. There's just, it doesn't feel like so much is like you have to do it all now. And so, I feel like every day was very different.
Yeah. It was, and I will say, like, the environment that was created, to your credit, and genuinely to the extras credit as well. All the extras that day, like so respectful, so present, and so in it. So huge shout out to all of you, because we couldn't have done it without them. You know, all that stuff adds to the reality of what's going on. Yeah.
I know you've actually said to me, I don't remember a lot from filming it.
That's true.
And is that typical for you, or is that particular scene you had to get into such a headspace that you were outside of yourself a little bit?
It's a good question. I think maybe this one is a little bit more specific because there have been very few times in my career where I felt like, I guess, that in it or whatever you want to say. But yeah, I don't know. I think it was one of those things where it's like, yo, we're locked in, we're here, we're shooting this, you know, you want to be there for your partner, your scene partners and stuff like that. So I think the focus is not even on yourself at that point. And genuinely, there are moments that I don't remember. Like if I watch the episode, sometimes I'll go, oh yeah, I think I kind of remember this happening like right before the take happened. The main thing I remember from that day, honestly, is in between takes, laying on the ground and Noah standing guard, so no one bothered me. That's all I remember. Right? Yeah, I tend to try to go away and have private moments and stuff like that. But
so I remember that. Again, we had to do it. You have to do it so many times from so many different angles, and it's such a complicated process for something that, when you're watching it in its final form, it's all edited together. There's music, and all those 6 days of filming were so technical. when you first watched it in its final form, what was your reaction? Did it take you back to that time, or were you able to kind of watch it as a scene in a show in an emotional way, or did you go back to the filming of it?
I was able to take it in because again, just a testament to everyone behind the scenes and how y'all edited it, and the slow-mo of it, and
that was cool.
The music, all of it together was just, it took me out of it, it was beautiful. And then I think I only watched it once, and then you made me watch it again for our after show. But even that was just, then I start thinking about the filming of it and the whole process and what we all went through.
Yeah.
It's so cool to being on this side of it. Like, y'all as an audience, you see the final product, but being on the side of doing it, there are some moments that maybe came after what is happening chronologically in the script. And it's watching it was so cool to remember those types of moments, like, oh yeah, this is the part where, Brandon has the sword, and we had to be very specific about how that's. You mean
chronologically shooting it out of order at times, or whatever,
yes,
and then watching it.
Exactly. Seeing it chronologically in the script, the story, versus how we actually shot it, because we don't always shoot in order with stuff like this or with anything that we do in general, Right. So having watched the show, it was really cool to be able to see all the effects being added in. The music helped so much with the tone of it. It's
the music. I remember
beautiful.
Dan and Matt are our composers. They'll send me a rough of it, and then I give notes, and then they send another version. And I remember finally, in this case, the first time I listened to it, I think it was one of the few times where I don't think I had notes. I remember I'd filmed the scene for 6 days, edited it for dozens of days because it's such a complicated scene, and then finally watching it all the way through with the music, I was breathless. The music is so beautiful and painful and awful, but like in a great way.
It's such a beautifully done moment from start to finish, and like when I watch it, I'll remember sometimes certain moments that we had between us as actors. Sometimes we'll speak to each other before something starts to get into a headspace or whatever it was. And the moment that really got me was when the camera is on Big James with the dagger getting pulled away, because I remember Abe, before one of the takes, came up to me and was just like, "I'm sorry, I couldn't help her," or something like that, and it just crushed me. Rewatching
and watching like Thaddeus, Giovanni.
Oh man, dude, that moment, just his reaction of seeing what is going on in front of him is amazing.
I mean, everybody involved, and Liz coming up, down to me, and then holding my hand, and then seeing everybody before everyone kind of parted ways, and then Joey coming up and everything.
I will say, I don't know if you felt the same way or if you felt the same way. We're all always there for each other whenever we're filming, but that week in particular, it was I feel like one of the strongest moments where everyone, no matter who was on screen, really wanted to do it for the other person, to the maximum effort that they could. You could really feel that energy between everybody, and I thought that was so
I think
lovely.
I think the rest of the cast knew this was your moment, not in a glorifying way, but in a, they have to be. It's like they understood how difficult it would be, so they were gonna help you, be there for you.
One thing that I want to say actually is, before the season started, before we started shooting, once everyone got the scripts and stuff, I had people texting me saying things like, genuinely, everybody in the cast texted and was like, "Hey, if you need anything, let me know. If there are moments where you need help or want to be alone or whatever, please tell me." It was just so sweet that everyone reached out and did that, and I'm so appreciative of that, and I know their heart is really in it.
We have a good group.
We do have a good group.
So we talked about this in the after show. We got into more details, so you should watch it. But you and I've talked about this a lot, how this was planned for a while. And in fact, I just dropped it on the two of you when we were about to film a scene in season 2. It's episode 1. It's
2 years before we even get into this moment, where we just look at each other like, what?
Yeah. And then you went to go back to film and to shoot.
So it's with you guys with Coffney on the road heading towards to meet Jesus in Samaria.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking and laughing and doing our usual screwing around and being inappropriate. And I go, this scene is really interesting. I said, just so you know, because I am planning on killing off Ramah and in a future season. And we've been thinking about that since season 1. And I'm like, it's time to roll, you know. And you guys are like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
I don't know why I did it. I'm sorry. But the point is, you became so wonderful, like you're such a good friend, and everyone in the cast loves this chick, right? And the crew and everyone. And then I'm like, it became increasingly difficult each year to go, we're going to do this. And I, because I love her so much and we all love her so much. But you mentioned that you're like, it was hard for you too. I remember you texted me when we sent the scripts out, and I just get a text from you and all it said was, "Oh, my Ramah heart," and this little like broken heart emoji, because you had thought it was happening in season 5, not season 4. And I was just like, I know, I'm sorry. But you also felt like it was an honorable, like, way to go. Meaning it was, we did the character justice. She was there fighting for Thomas, fighting for Jesus, part of it, she was brave, all of those things. But yeah, I'm just curious what you thought, like when the first time you read it, and like, did you see it coming? Because I didn't tell you how exactly it was going to happen. But.
No. Well, kind of like Joey was saying, I got texts before I even read it.
Oh, really?
So I just got texts already knowing, I already knew it was coming. And then we got our scripts. I just hadn't been able to read them just yet. And then I got texts, and then people were like, "How you doing? Did you read the scripts yet?" And like, I'm like, "Oh, got it." Like I put it all together once I got several of those same texts almost. And so then I was like, "Oh, it's this season." So then I looked it up and read it, texted you, wanted to text you something else probably. And I, after letting it sit, it's been a process. I've gone through mixed emotions, sad, positive. And like you said, I just feel like it's a very honorable way that she is gone. And I accredit that to you and Ryan and Tyler. So thank y'all for doing that and giving, and, I feel like she, just who she is as a person, and to see how she still maintained her strength, even through the end. It, like, enough, like she gave her last strength still to the thing and the people and everything that she believed in. And I just feel like that's so beautiful, and I was so happy to be able to do that.
Yeah, and you did her justice, and did Thomas and Joey. I mean, it was just such a gift to the show and to the viewer, how much you gave yourself to that role. And one of the things that I think is cool, and I hope you as the viewer picked up on this, because we know in the Gospels that Thomas multiple times in the Gospels expresses frustration or doubt or even almost a fatalism, like, well, let's just go and die with Jesus. There's things like that. And obviously this storyline isn't factual and isn't from the Bible, but I love kind of her last words of stay with him no matter what. And so, spoiler alert, but this is from the Bible. Thomas does struggle, obviously, and we'll see that next episode. We'll see this the rest of the season. But she says, just please, like, just stay with him. Yeah. Like, that's what I want. Stay with him. And so it's like as she's leaving, she's still following, and she's still wanting him to follow. And I think it shows just how passionately committed she was to be willing to do something like leaving her family and all of that. It would have been a big deal back then. So yeah, any last words for...
Get it?
Sorry.
Nice.
Yeah.
Too soon?
Yeah. But for the viewer, or for the process of doing this.
I mean, I just want to basically reiterate everything that y'all have said and everything that we've talked about, of how it really was a village that took, and every episode, every scene, this whole show, like all of it is to the viewers. We wouldn't be here with this experience and being able to have these conversations if it weren't for everyone involved. And there's just so many talented people behind the scenes that I don't think that we would be able to produce the way that we produce in such a beautiful environment if it weren't for those people.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally giving us the opportunity to do it, like paying our salaries, supporting the show, and then ultimately giving us a space to do things like this that are tough and painful, but are true to life. And so, yeah, I'm so glad you're back here today to do this, because you're still, of course, and will always be part of the family. Right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, right? I don't know. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I just show up.
Yeah.